And now, let us prepare our hearts and minds for a time of meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable position in your seats. Close your eyes if you wish, and take some deep breaths, which is always good. Let go of any distractions or worries that may be on your mind.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand, and I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Ooh, ooh. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds us, you're never failed, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Ooh, ooh, Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. So I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Ooh, ooh. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. And this song was by Hillsong United. And let's just go a little bit deeper even into meditation space. Into a time of quiet reflection. And I would like to invite you to become fully present with and in this moment. And with each breath, in whatever way is comfortable for you. See if you can relax your body and mind a little bit more with each exhale. And now, if you would, remember a beautiful experience, one that makes you feel uplifted and puts a smile on your face. And just notice how you can change your state in one moment, just with your own thoughts. Imagine you could feel completely confident about your inner well-being, and nothing in your life or this world's drama could shake you. How would it feel to relax into life and trust that it is unfolding exactly as it needs to? And breathe. And how would life be if we could more easily shift our state from within to remain steady, to master our energy, to clear our minds, and choose our focus? All this regardless of outer circumstances. What if that was now possible for us? It takes great courage and great faith to look upon all of our creations, our thoughts, our feelings, our manifestations, with love and with the innocence of a child. For you see, such a quality of awareness is perfect mastery. Within that is discovered perfect peace, freedom, joy, and uninterrupted communion with all of creation. And now let's change our state together as a group and synchronize our hearts, thoughts, and intention. Imagine that all of us are gathered in a most beautiful place. Maybe a meadow full of gorgeous flowers, fragrant and colorful. And we stand in a circle, holding hands with each other and the angels and masters, saints and sages, all those who want to bless this planet and move it into greater love and a higher frequency. And together we hold and bless this world, which is right in the middle of our circle, with such intense love and gratitude that it sends out a huge wave of love and healing for all beings in this universe and beyond. And know that these are not just words. Our hearts and minds have this power. So let's once again see each other in this circle holding hands with the masters and angels and all those who want to bless this earth. And together sending out a very powerful pulse and wave of love from our very core, from our love, heart, spirit. We're sending out a huge wave of love and healing for all beings on this earth, in this universe, and beyond. And let's take a nice deep breath together. And we don't let go of this connection. It is always there. And now take your time. When you feel ready, you can slowly bring your awareness back to this space that we perceive with our eyes. There is nothing to fear, there is nothing to lose. You are safe and secure, it is love you can choose. There is nothing to miss or to worry about, everything is within, just reflecting without. There's a world that can't fade and a peace that abides just behind this veil that you see with your eyes. You are whole and complete, let all doubts fly away. When they all disappear, only pure love remains. What you need is inside, ever present and sure. There is no need to hide, you are safe and secure. You have come from the light. Remember always, make the darkness so bright that you can smile through your days. There's a world that can't fade and a peace that abides just behind this veil that you see with your eyes. You are whole and complete, let all doubts fly away. When they all disappear, only pure love remains. When they all disappear, only only pure love remains. As you can see, I'm really into lullabies. That song I wrote many years ago, um, when I was sad and going through a loss in my life. And I was at the Yuba River where I live, the South Yuba, and this song came into my mind. And luckily, I had a little tiny scrap of paper to write it down, because otherwise, by the time I hiked out of the canyon, it would have been, forgotten. And it's called Only Pure Love Remains. I actually made a little video at that same spot where I received the song. Um, so the talk today is called Changing State. And of course, we're not moving to another state, we're just looking at our inner state. And so we could ask ourselves, why do we do things that we do? For example, why do we go to Sunday service? Well, in Unity, we have the core values, which are meaningful prayer, joyful fellowship, inspirational education, loving service. And all those things change our state. Well, from what to what? What kind of change are we actually addressing? And it means more that our instead of coming from our programming, from our habits, from an automated way of thinking, feeling, and doing, that we are deliberately choosing what kind of energy we want to put out, what kind of thoughts, how do we want to feel about things. And I have had so much change in myself in how I look at this world, how I look at this world and myself and others. And they are very, very good choices. So I just want to invite everyone to relax even more deeply than we already did with all those lullabies. And let's evaluate our state right now. Not judging, just observing. And just kind of make a note of it. Maybe there is some stress, maybe whatever there is, maybe there is a problem in life that we feel troubled about and feel like we need to solve. Or maybe there's some fear of the state of the world. And let's just observe it without judging it, just noticing. One of my spiritual teachers always said to see is to be free. Just to be aware of something is no longer hooking me in completely. I can actually observe it. Even though it's going on in this body mind, I'm observing it. So where is the observer? It's not hooked into all this content, right? So Michael Singer, a wonderful fellow, he said, if we are honest, most of us are happy when we have what we think we need or want. And we are unhappy if we don't. So we are riding the waves that go up and down on the surface of the sea. And when we do that and we identify with the wave, we get seasick all the time. Life literally tosses us about. Our inner state tosses us up and down all over the map. One moment I hear something on the news and you could be sad, and the next moment you're upset, the next moment you could be happy. So this talk is about taking responsibility for all of those energies in us, not to just let them run. It's kind of like when we have a dog that is untrained. You know what untrained dogs do? They jump up, they claw, they tear things up, whatever they do. Our minds are very similar. So in a way, it's about, first of all, seeing what the minds are doing and then choosing, making a conscious choice. And so I'm all about training the mind, because I saw how powerful the mind is. It can literally bring us to panic at a moment's notice, or it can bring us to total bliss at a moment's notice. So I think humanity, we're still like children playing in a sandbox. We're just still learning to use this incredibly powerful tool. And the reason this mind is so powerful is because it's given to us by the universal source, by the divine. It is that same kind of mind that can create everything. So it's like a child driving a Ferrari, you know. It's just, we've become a little dangerous with that tool. So, and I also see it, you know, like there are different apps, like on a computer and on your phone, there are different apps. They all do different things. And hopefully you have the ones that you like and that serve you. The same in our mind, there are so many different operating systems. And there are, like, for example, the survival reactions, and then there are the higher faculties. And, you know, I've recently learned an amazing modality that I actually became certified in because it's working so well. And it accesses all these different states in the brain through different eye positions and movement of the eyes, which we track with an object. It's like EMDR, but on steroids. It's much more comprehensive than EMDR. But the eye positions, you know, when sometimes you ask someone a question, they might look up, is because when we look up, it opens up the realm of ideas and inspiration in our brain. When we look right, for most people, not everybody, but most people, when we look right, we open up the left hemisphere of the brain, which is the more rational thoughts and logical thinking. When we look extreme left, we open up the right brain, which is more creative and fluid and, you know, inspirational. And when we look down, the eye position is down, we actually connect with the body, with the physiology, kinesiology. So, like, what does the body think of it? And often our brain, all these different things I just described, they all have different opinions. You know, so you could say it's the four different opinions of your brain. They all have different perspectives. So when we actually engage the whole brain by moving the eyes in all these different ways, we can access all of our faculties all at once. So I recently rewatched, I had watched it before, but I watched again this movie called Hector and the Search for Happiness. And if you haven't seen it, go look at it. It's really an amazing movie. And in it, so this begruntled and disillusioned psychologist, psychotherapist goes on a journey to find, he's doing research, searching for happiness, like what makes people happy. So he's having all these different experiences in different countries. And, you know, some really scary ones and some that are really quite wonderful, but he's always making notes. So he's approaching this whole journey as an exploration. And lately I've been going into that myself, looking at my life that used to be a bunch of problems to solve and places to get to and, you know, to improve. I look at my life as it's a divine exploration, and I'm just researching. And by doing that, I was able to really release remorse and guilt of the past and regrets, as well as fear of the future. Because it's just, I'm an eternal spirit and I'm really doing some research here about the human condition. And it's incredibly exciting. I've my life has become so exciting and joyful and amazing. I could have never thought of this, you know, earlier. It's been quite amazing. So in that movie, Hector and the Search for Happiness, there's a scene where he is going to this monastery in the Himalayas, and he meets this old monk, and Hector says, "How can you be so happy when you've lost your family? You know, you've lost everything. You've been tortured." And the monk, he eventually calls Hector up to the roof where all the prayer flags are dancing in the wind. And he goes, "Hector, come, see, it's all of them. It's all of them." He says, "You hold the cards, Hector." Hector had no clue what he meant at that time, but he did in the end of the movie when it ties in with that scene, But what the monk meant, it's not just the things that feel good or the things that we like. It's all of them. All of the flags, all of the prayer flags are dancing together in the wind. All of our experiences, the horrendous one and the incredibly beautiful ones, when you take them back together into one space, they become bliss, pure bliss. And I never used to understand this statement that one of my spiritual teachers used to tell us. He said, everything that is fully experienced, even if it's the most intense pain, can turn into total joy and bliss, or at least peace. And now I understand what that meant. So in the end of the movie, Hector has a electrodes on his head. There is a professor that's doing research about the brain and lighting up different brain centers. And he asks Hector, okay, think of something joyful, something scary, and something sad. And the research scientist was looking for his brain to light up in different parts. But eventually what happened is Hector had all of his brain light up. So all the centers, the fear, the terror, the joy, the bliss, the sadness, all of it lit up all at once. And that ties into the scene with the prayer flags. Hector, it's all of them. It's not just this or this. So when the brain fires together, all of it, and I just imagine that God's mind is like that, everything all happens all at once at the same time. It's not split into opposites like, as a part, sadness, and here's fear, and here's joy. No, it's all at the same time. And I have had experiences like that where there was just total bliss. It used to happen more by accident, but now it's happening more by my will, by my directing my thoughts and feelings. So let's take a nice deep breath together, and I want to show you one gesture that really helps me to change my state, because I have a high-strung nervous system. I used to have full-fledged PTSD in Germany, coming from a war generation. But I can change my state now. So it's not that negative things or stress or whatever reactions shouldn't come up. No, it's just what we do with them. So one gesture I want to teach you is, I call it hara. Hara is, that power that we have in our middle point. So I take my hand, and you can take either hand up to the top, and I take a really deep breath, and I bring it really slowly down. So I imagine that, so as I move my hand down, I imagine that the power of the whole universe, that centeredness, is moving into my central channel, and it's centering me. And if you want, you can take the other hand and point that down to the earth, and you can bring that one hand up and the and the other one down, and you can slowly have them meet in front of your heart. Either like this or like this. It means we're bringing in the grounding and the strength of the earth, and we're bringing in all the power of the universe, the peace, the power, the life force from the universe, and we're uniting it in our own central channel. And so when you do that with a deep, deep, deep breath, and then you gaze, like very soft gaze, but gaze into the distance, almost like you really mean it. Let's try that together. So you have that gaze of total intention and focus, and you bring in the power of the universe. Let's bring in a deep breath. And just bringing it down. Beautiful. And just notice how that feels in your body. I always love little tricks like that. I call them little hacks, but they are little tricks that really work so powerfully, and you can do them anytime. You don't have to wait for a yoga class or a meditation class. You can do those many times during the day and experiment. I would like to invite you to experiment a little bit. If you could, this week, this coming week, or even today, see if you could change your state at will. If you can just like bring in that gesture, but the eyes open and looking ahead with this intention, and just like the intention to be completely at home in yourself, sovereign, connected to the power of the universe. And this is irregardless of what goes on in your emotions. You could be upset, you could be joy, whatever it is, whatever you state you are in, you let it be, and you just bring yourself into your center, your awareness, your power, your focus. And that aligns you with the earth and with the heaven. And then see what happens. Take some nice deep breaths. You'll be surprised how amazing that actually works. And then another thing that that can really change our state is, I noticed that a lot of humans, we make New Year's resolutions and we have all these very lofty goals and we want to accomplish things, but then we get thwarted. And the reason for that is that we actually have too high of a goal, or we can't quite, like, we get bogged down. For example, if I think of cleaning up the whole house, the whole mess, I get overwhelmed. And I came across this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he says, if you are having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. And I thought that was interesting. So when the system is helter-skelter, the results are helter-skelter. So I decided, okay, I can do, so atomic habits are little tiny changes we make every day. Like if you had a bucket, you wanted to fill it all the way, you put one drop every day into the bucket. Eventually it gets full. Eventually it overflows. And so, like, if I clean up one corner or one drawer or one piece of clothing, I I have made a 1% change in my life in the direction that I want to go in. It's no longer imposed by mom, who would yell at us maybe for not cleaning our room. It's really an internal pressure. But if I switch it into where it's a success, if I expect just to have one tiny little thing towards my goal every single day, that consistency, it brings huge changes. We might not notice it right away, but after some time you go, wow, this really works. So he calls it atomic habits. I really did enjoy that. So practicing every day a little bit to change our state, to not run quite so much from these habits and these programs. We are so much more, so much more. And maybe some of us have a little difficulty with forgiveness in some cases. There are some things where my mind really wants to forgive and wanted to let go, but there's still a little pain in the body when I think of those situations in the past that were extremely hurtful. And so I wanted to share this with you that helped me too to change state when there's an issue or a hurt with someone else. And it's a quote by Abraham Hicks, channeled by Esther Hicks. And Abraham shares, the person that needs to do something is not that person. The person that needs to do something is you. Some of those people in your life may not deserve your good thoughts. In other words, you might feel they are bad or evil. Think of certain characters in the public eye, or wrong, or inappropriate. They do not deserve your good thoughts, and you stubbornly are not going to give them any. They may not deserve your good thoughts, but you do. You deserve your good thoughts about them. This is what the art of allowing is. It's allowing your own well-being. So that was a game changer for me. I deserve my good thoughts about them, and that includes certain presidential candidates or whatever, certain politicians. It includes everything. I deserve my good thoughts about them, because if I have negative thoughts or upset thoughts about anyone, anything, I am going into a state of stress. So I deserve my good thoughts about them. It totally changed it, because they don't care. I mean, yes, I think thoughts do affect others when we think them, but it's mostly me that is affected by my thoughts about anything and anyone. So that was a true change. I have so much more to share with you, but I think we need to, because of time, we need to come to a close. So I wanted to just really quickly share this contemplation with you that you can practice at home. Basically, you just sit and close your eyes in this case, and you observe the thoughts you have. And they're kind of like clouds coming through the sky of your mind, of your consciousness. So just notice and focus on the breath, always focusing on the breath. So notice what kind of thoughts they are. Maybe critical, maybe judgmental, maybe they are from the past or the future. Maybe they have an emotional component, an emotional charge. Maybe they are creative, or maybe they are desiring an outcome, or maybe they're very high spiritual thoughts. But just to sit in awareness, maybe for just 5 minutes, a few times a day, sit in awareness and let your thoughts come, breathing deeply, focusing on your breath. When they come, just observe what kind of thought they are. This is really an amazing exercise. It just makes you so much more aware of what this mind is doing. This little monkey or dog that needs to be trained by you, the master. It is not the master. So I will, with that, with this, another quote by Abraham, close this talk for today. And he says, take your inner being everywhere you go. If you take your inner being to the party, it's going to be a good party. If you take your inner being, the food that you eat will be received perfectly by the cells of your body. Every word that comes out of your mouth will be beneficial to everyone who hears them with their ears or with their vibration. Don't go anywhere without your inner being. That's what allowing is. Always having your inner being present. And then anything else that happens is always orchestrated perfectly by the law of attraction. And so it is. So I want to share with you a little chant here that was written by Mukti Bird. And in the Eastern tradition, they call the illusion of all this outer up and down, they call it Maya. So Maya is the illusion of life. And she takes us onto those waves up and down. And so Mukti was singing, Maya, 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 you will deceive me no more. I am walking through the freedom door. So if you just go into the meaning with me, or you can sing with me, it's a simple chant, but go into the meaning and really feel that meaning. Like, I'm not going to let illusions and patterns and habits deceive me anymore. I am going to live from my truth from now on, from Hara, from my center. And I decide what state I want to be in. Maya, 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 you will deceive me no more. Maya, 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 through the freedom door. Maya, 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 I see through you. Maya, 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 my heart is illumined by the truth. My heart is illumined by the truth. Face guide my way, innocence let me pray. Dissolve the untrue, so all I do can serve.